Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen All Set Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who might like it too. So this reading, this pick a stack love reading, is for my couples. So if you're already in a relationship, not hoping to be in a relationship or trying to, get somebody into a relationship, but if you're already in the relationship, these cards are going to be for you. What you want to do is you want to pick your stack first. Do you want stack 1? Do you want stack 2? Or do you want stack 3? You want to take your time, focus on the stacks, allow yourself to be drawn to the stack that is calling you the most. And then I am going to read the cards and tell you what they're talking about. So if you're in group number 1, today we are taking a look at the 53 Shades of Pink cards by V Love Crystals. I also have the Red Hot Love cards by V Love Crystals. And I also have the Romance Oracle. This is Alice's Romance Oracle. All of these cards I got on Etsy, and underneath this video, you are going to find the links to each one. Group number 1, you two could grow old together. You two could. You could very easily grow old together. I will be actually planning for the future, planning for retirement when I get this card. It could be 30, 40 years off, but I will still be planning for it now. Because this card looks like if the two of you play your cards right, because you got some good cards here. If the two of you play these cards right, the two of you could end up spending the rest of your lives together. And how beautiful and comforting that possibly can be. And it could be torturous if you're not playing your cards right. So you want to be really careful with this vibration, because these two have this kind of compatible energy where they could raise a family together. They could, spend their lives working and traveling or doing a business together. This couple has a longevity vibration going on, but you don't want to be together and miserable. You want to be together and happy. That's why I said really focus on how you treat each other. Because one of the things I see here is that intimacy is going to be very important for this union. If you have a good level of intimacy, and intimacy is not just sex. Intimacy is talking, holding hands, sharing goals, sharing dreams, sharing fears, sharing insecurities. Is sharing all of those things that are on your heart and on your mind. And so if you're doing those things with this person, that's when you do get to that goal of growing old together, because you've been intimate, you've been connected, you're bonded, and everything is going in the right direction. Remember, no relationship is perfect, but it can be a very good one. Now, if there's a problem with your intimacy, let's say, because one of the things that happens with a couple like this is sometimes they don't always have intimacy. Sometimes they're not being physical with each other. They've just kind of like been together so long that they're physical sometimes or not at all. They could be being physical, but they could be not doing anything else. When was the last time you went on a date? When was the last time you took your wife or your husband out or bought them flowers? Or when was the last time you held hands? When was the last time you laid in bed and just talked to each other with your cell phones off? So this is asking you to look at your connection. If you have a good intimacy and a good connection, that's great. If you don't, change it. This is something that can change. Just because the relationship is stale or stagnant doesn't mean it has to stay that way. You can always spice things up in a variety of different ways. Just have that discussion with your partner about intimacy and ways you can heat things up. And sometimes one or both of you might feel forgotten. Like, you're in a relationship, you're together all the time, but the other person is more into their phone. or more into their work, for example. Not that they don't love you, but they're very distracted by the stresses that are going on from day to day. Don't forget about the importance of nurturing your partnership. I don't care how long you've been with somebody, you want to keep dating them. You want to keep wooing them. You want to keep that romance, that focus, that support, that nurturing energy going. You want to keep pouring into them, and you want them to keep pouring into you. If that stops, the relationship becomes dead, and you might be with each other until you grow old, but you're together and miserable, or you're together and finding your needs elsewhere, which in my opinion, why are you even together? So don't forget about the other person. Remember, the other person is a priority. I always say that goddess is first, then comes me, and then comes my children. But if you're in a relationship, your spouse needs to come somewhere in there too, either before or after your children, depending on how, your values are. So they need to be a priority. They can't be second fiddle, or you just think about them on Valentine's Day, or you just think about them on their birthday. When was the last time you brought your wife flowers, or your husband, a gift just because, or did something for them? You know that person's love language. If you don't know it, learn it, and make sure that you're responding to them in their love language, and they're responding to you in yours. All right. Group number 1. Let's go on to group number 2. Group number 2. You and your love have something that needs to be forgiven. Either they need to forgive you, you need to forgive them, or one of you needs to forgive yourself. But forgiveness is coming up very strongly with this particular card. So you want to ask yourself, are you holding any judgments? Is either of you holding any judgments or resentments against the other, or against yourself, or against a third party who may have interfered in the relationship? This card is all about looking at what needs to be forgiven and then doing so. So group number 2, what needs to be forgiven for this relationship to continue going forward? Because the second card here tells me that whatever it is toxic. And when I say toxic, I mean toxic to the relationship. So let's say, for example, you're holding on to a resentment from something that your wife did to you 5, 6, 7 years ago, or even last week. Whatever that resentment is that you're holding on to is going to cause toxic vibrations in your relationship. The problem with this is that it'll put you in a hellish relationship, or it could potentially break your relationship up. Likewise, if you've done something that you feel guilty for, that you haven't forgiven yourself for, that guilt will show up in your relationship. So you have to forgive each other, and you have to forgive yourselves before this toxic energy really does some damage to your relationship. Number 2, you guys seem to have not a bad attraction. The attraction is definitely there. I think that just the forgiveness work needs to be done. Yeah, that looks like what it need. That's what it looks like needs to be done, is the forgiveness work, because the attraction is a good one. At least one of you is attracted to the other one. Hopefully, you're both attracted to each other, but at least it's going at least one way. If you find yourself not attracted to this person, it could be because that toxic energy is starting to seep in there. So that's why I said you want to have some real serious communication with this person around forgiveness and around removing any toxic energy. The only way to remove toxic energy is to communicate, to heal. The forgiveness aspect comes in under healing. That's the only way to do that. Otherwise, it just gets worse. Group number 3. Let's see what you got, number 3. With number 3, I like this. You got the karmic love card. So the interesting thing about karmic love, some people, sometimes you'll hear people say karmic relationship. It's an interesting idea because what it's saying is that these two people may have known each other in previous lives. So you may have been with this person more than once or once before. The karmic love, it can be a good thing or it cannot be. If you're with somebody that you have a karmic relationship with and it's a healthy relationship, then it's going to be a very good thing. It's going to feel very familiar and you two are going to be like two peas in a pod. But if you guys had a history in past lives or in your current life of problems, this is something that comes about to heal and for you to deal with. Now, because your other cards are very positive, it looks like the two of you should be able to do this together. So this is a good card. You're together for a reason. So this card is encouraging you. Because this one says that you are with the right one. So this karmic relationship, regardless of what's going on right now, you are with the right person. And so it's worth it to explore maintaining that relationship. Whatever issues you guys need to address, go ahead and address them and hold on to each other. Be good to each other. You know, no matter what mistakes you make, this is a relationship that is really, when they say the one, it means that this is the one for you. This is, remember we talked about it being a karmic relationship. So this is like that type of soulmate vibration or that twin flame vibration or just a really strong karmic vibration. So this is somebody you're supposed to be with, you're supposed to learn from, you're supposed to grow with. And if the two of you keep on doing your work in the relationship, then the two of you are going to be fine. You seem to be on each other's minds. You're on my mind the most. So regardless of other things that are going on in life and the world and kids and work, the two of you definitely have each other on your mind. And this is a good thing because if you're on that person's mind and they're on your mind, then you're going to continue to work together to have a good relationship. So group number 3, this relationship is actually my favorite one because it has the karmic energy. It says that you're the one and you're on each other's minds. I love this level of dedication and commitment. So group number 3, you guys can really have a great relationship. You just got to keep this momentum going. Okay? All right, couples, thank you for coming to check out my video and come back soon because I got so much more to say. See ya.